stuff's untucked, but you're tucked in, Dale.
Yeah, I went shopping a couple weeks ago. had to get it up for the SEMA show out here.
I mean, this guy has come, considering where he was, this guy's come a long way.
He's much improved.
This is Roger Penske, and he's only on speed because of SpeedFreaks, right, Raj?
I love it. Yeah, thanks.
You're trying to knock me over a little bit here.
I am getting kind of close to you. What's up with that?
I don't know. It's like you're trying to kiss me or something.
You got Roger DeCoster, James Bubba Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Johnson. Where are you out of those 5 riders?
I'm at the top of the list. That's a dumb question.
4 wheels in the steering wheel, so why not? So I might ask Tony Stewart for the job one day.
Tony, is it true that Jeff Gordon takes all your women?
The only one he's taken from me is Crash, so I didn't think it was that big a deal.
Who does Chip Ganassi like better?
Dan Weldon, for sure.
Well, me, of course. I've been around long enough. I think I'm almost the longest standing driver in this team.
What are you talking about, man? The day they stop having cars in the inner city, I'll stop smoking. Until then, don't insult my intelligence.
Some nice young ladies are taking notice of you.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. At least they're looking at me. I hope they're looking at me because I'm hot.
You know what? I'm very comfortable wearing this, and if you think I'm oh well.
Hang up and try again.
Live on the Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios, driven by General Tire.
Rock on, baby!
I am serious. Here's the Freaks.
Freak Nation, this is going to be a fun little show here for you, Freak Nation. Coming up, we're going to have Christopher Bell join us this hour, along with our good friend Austin Dillon with Richard Childress Racing, who, by the way, do I need to remind you, happy bastards, who picked Austin Dillon? Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it comes up in the interview with Austin. It does. And he's right. I picked the W, but, man, I didn't back it up with any cake. I did not back it up with any financial situation. So, regardless, Austin Dillon will join us this hour, and Christopher Bell here in the Freak Nation. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the website speedfreaks.tv. Richard C. Suave in the number 2 chair. How does it feel, bro?
I like it. I my other seat over here to my right is it gets a little lonely over there sometimes. So
it's all right.
I like being enclosed at the table. Like I feel like I'm at the big kids table now.
Yeah.
What feels better, that you're sitting at the table or that Taylor Swift got engaged to Travis Kelce?
Oh, it's a Taylor Swift engagement. Yeah, we've been waiting for this for years. Absolutely, yeah.
Glasses gang today too. Look at that, all 4 of us glasses.
Oh, Cody, you got your glasses on? Yeah, man. do kids still give kids grief about wearing glasses?
I don't think so.
We call them 4 eyes.
I think the bullying culture is pretty much done.
Right.
I would hope, anyway.
Yeah.
Been out of school for a while now.
How do you feel when you leave one of these shows and I just bully your ass for 2 hours?
I'm Italian. I love ball busting.
Yeah,
we live for that.
Cole Cusimano with that Dallas Stars lid on. Nice job. Thanks for supporting my Dallas Stars.
Hey, let's go Yannick Sinner.
Let's go. How about a close-up there, Cody? There it is.
I have no idea who that is.
Yannick Sinner, the world #1 Italian.
No idea.
Italian tennis?
No idea.
Hey.
Nope.
We got a man down, man, but it's okay. Crasher is in Indianapolis for, my goodness, is this the 17th year of the Eric Medlin golf tournament put on by our good friends at Lucas Oil? It is I believe so. Yeah, it's been going on. Eric Medlin, if you don't know the story about Eric Medlin was a fantastic personality and, frankly, was an up-and-coming funny car driver in the NHRA. Lost his life while testing in Las Vegas many years ago. And what Morgan Lucas and Brandon Bernstein, J.R. Todd, and maybe another driver, they were the brat pack for the NHRA. When Eric Medlin lost his life, it was devastating. Of course, he was driving for John Force at the time, and his dad was the crew chief for John Force at the time. So Morgan created this Eric Medlin golf tournament where they would raise money, and now specifically for Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital at Ascension St. Vincent there in Indianapolis. and going on its 17th year. We've been a partner with it for that long. And my full explanation here, go and put that graphic up one more time, is that's where Crasher is. She is hanging out in Indianapolis. I'll be there as well for the Lucas Oil Eric Medlin Memorial Golf Tournament happening at Eagle Creek Golf Course in Indianapolis. Go to lucasoil.com, or more importantly, Richard, what's the website for the auction? There it is. The hell, I just put there it is. Attaboy, wake up with the Chiron. EricMedlinMemorial.com. You can bid on some badass freaking items. Richard C. Suave has his eye set on a few items.
Yes, sir.
You got Masters tournament tickets. You've got Caitlin Clark jerseys, basketballs. You've got all kinds of bourbon, Colts, Pacers, racing, Blink 182.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can actually bid on Freak Nation. So go to ericmedlinmemorial.com. Goes to a great cause. Thanks to our friends at Lucas Oil for making this as big as it is. And it sells out stat. And I think one team is going to be Tony Stewart, Clint Boyer, and Brandon Bernstein.
That's a fun team.
Yeah. Because it's going on in the weekend with the U.S. Nationals, which, of course, actually is a freaking 4-iron from Eagle Creek. And they just piggyback with that and get a bunch of dudes there from the drag racing motorsports community to be a part of it. So, yeah, man, that's where we're going to be hanging out this week.
It's fun.
I mentioned Christopher Bell coming up, Austin Dillon coming up. Of course, Darlington this weekend. Next weekend is really the ball buster when it comes to Bristol. We talked to Christopher Bell and Austin Dillon earlier this week, and one of the specific questions we asked was, what would you do differently with the playoffs? And I'm going to start with Austin Dillon first. I hadn't heard this conversation about how he would change the playoffs, but I think it's freaking brilliant. And then we'll follow it up with Christopher Bell and discuss a couple of these items from Austin Dillon and Christopher Bell. Austin Dillon with his take on what he would do to change the playoffs. What would Austin Dillon do differently with the playoffs for 2026, or are you happy with where they are?
I like the excitement of the playoffs. I think it gives the fans always some drama to watch and be entertained by. I think one thing that I would change, the guys that are out of it, I think for playoff purposes probably shouldn't count as points. I think there should be 1 point in between the playoff people. So if I finish second and say Denny, who's in the playoffs, finishes 8th, I only beat him by 1 point. So you eliminate those guys that you're racing around, so those shenanigans don't go on. And then also if you have one bad race, it's only a couple points in between yourself and the guy next to you. But in the end, I think the champion, usually shines in the playoff system.
That's an extremely good point. What about points in the regular season? Would there be anything you would change there to further weight or not weight some race wins or stages?
No, I mean, a regular season, I think they do a good job. I mean, I don't have any complaints currently. I'm fine with the way it is. I know there's a lot out there about bringing back the old point system and stuff like that. I've been the beneficiary of the old point system. I won a championship with it in the trucks and Xfinity, so I enjoyed that. But, I think it's pretty entertaining the way it is. I know that some of your racing purists might not love the championship format, but I think it brings in a broader fan base to understand what we're doing.
It's the evolution of sport, kind of like you're going through with your grandfather, with Richard Childress. Everything evolves. Everything changes. You have to just keep up with it to maintain, your identity. Yeah. So yes, it's just hard to get the fan base sometimes to wrap their arms around it.
Yeah. I mean, in sports, if we're compared to other sports, the best team throughout the year, usually, they might win the Super Bowl, but it doesn't really happen very often. Even in baseball, it's usually the hottest team at the right time, and that momentum has to hit. And it's the same thing with the PBR. I mean, you can win the regular season, but it's one tournament at the end that wins the gold buckle, and that's the only thing that people care about is the championship. So, got to get hot at the right time, be healthy, and ready to rock.
Yeah, that's a well thought out and very unique answer in my opinion. And I'd never heard that theory tossed around before, but I actually kind of like it. I mean, you're essentially limiting it to a 16-car field with all 40 or so cars on track, but condensing the point system. And I like that because you don't have, I guess, I wouldn't say fluky guys in the championship 4, but you have more deserving I guess, entrants. Like, for instance, last year, Kyle Larson, who had the most wins in the season, didn't even make the championship 4. Like, I think that would take that problem out of the equation. But there is something to be said as well for just that 10-race consistency and awarding that for that Final 4 deserving drivers. But I'm not opposed to it at all. I like it a lot, actually.
Richie, I like how it takes away some of that edge from the people that talk about this playoff sets up for someone that doesn't deserve the championship, to where, again, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, or Christopher Bell, dudes that have rattled off multiple wins this year, aren't out by the second race.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it so cool. I really like this idea. It's an idea that I've seen fans kind of throw out from time to time over the last couple of years, but it's never really gained any traction as far as like us talking about on this show or really other media entities talking about it all that often. So I'm glad that Austin mentioned that, and I wonder if he mentioned it. And I haven't heard what Christopher Bell has to say about this. You asked Christopher Bell about this too. We'll get to that in just a few minutes, but I'm curious to see what he has to say about it and if this has come up at all in the discussions with this playoff committee that I believe to our understanding, Christopher Bell is a part of as one of the drivers on this new playoff committee. I'm curious how much traction this has gotten amongst drivers and amongst the sport in terms of something that is maybe in the future, because Ben Kennedy mentioned just last week when the schedule was released and he was directly asked about it, he said, hey, this isn't set in stone yet. We still haven't completely set in stone the playoff format yet, and it still could change. So I'm curious if that is, because that would be an easy change to make, I feel like, as opposed to going and changing the rounds and changing everything else about it and making the championship a 3-race championship race. I feel like just changing the point system is so easy to do. Yeah,
you're not completely dismantling what you've established over how many years? 12? How long have the playoffs been going on?
20.
This format since 2014.
Okay. So, it doesn't completely obliterate.
Yeah.
It changes it slightly and puts it more in favor of, more than likely, the better driver is going to win the championship. And we will hear from Christopher Bell next segment in his take on what he would do differently, if any, with the NASCAR Cup playoffs. We'll also have the full interviews with Austin Dillon coming up, Christopher Bell, and our take on the odds for Bristol and the playoffs to win that championship, Freak Nation. That's how we roll here. Be sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, the website, speedfreaks.tv. More Freaks next.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Freak Nation, head to your local General Tire dealership now to check out the latest additions to their product lineup. The Grabber family of tires are engineered for durability and feature innovative performance features that offer all-terrain capability, blending exceptional off-road durability and impressive on-road performance, all while sporting aggressive style. For outstanding off-road performance coupled with strong street manners, look no further than General Tire. General Tire delivers for whatever you do, and the official tire of Speed Freaks since 2001. This freaking segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road.
Since 2022, the Enjoy Illinois 300 and Worldwide Technology Raceway has been nothing short of spectacular. Side-by-side racing, intense battles, flared tempers. It's now the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. All the excitement and the added drama of championship elimination. Go fast or go home. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Sponsored by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate, Illinois.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
This Freaking segment brought to you by our good friends at Lucas Oil. Do yourself and your family a favor, Freak Nation. Go to lucasoil.com. Check out a line of products to keep your engines, talking about 2-wheel, 4-wheel, even your speedboat, fat and happy. Go to lucasoil.com, lucasoil.com. We are headlong into the playoffs of the NASCAR Cup Series, and you heard Austin Dillon last segment with a damn good take on how he would slightly change the playoffs. And Christopher Bell, we followed that up with him this week when we talked to him earlier about changes that he would do in the playoffs. And he's along the same lines as Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell, now SpeedFreaks, Lucas Oil Studios. We had Austin Dillon on with us earlier. We asked him about what he would do with the playoffs. Would he change the playoffs? And he stressed how those drivers who are not in the playoffs,
yes,
those points wouldn't be counted. It would be just the drivers that are in the playoffs, and where the separation in numbers or the points themselves wouldn't be that drastic, in that if you have a bad race, you're not out of it when it comes to the next round of the playoffs. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, Austin actually talked about that a while ago, and I think that's a great idea because you eliminate some of the interference that happens in our sport, where non-playoff cars are taking points every time away from the playoff guys, and I think there's positives and negatives that come out of that, but I think it's a great idea for sure.
What else might you suggest in addition to make things deeper or more meaningful for the fans and for drivers in the playoff system?
It's an impossible question to answer. If you, what the fans want and what the drivers want, are two completely different things. So I can sit here and tell you from a driver in the sport, the way that they crown a champion now with a one race winner take all, event it's not a true champion. And, it's clear that the champions of the old days are not viewed the same as the champions that we have today. So I just think that there needs to be a bigger sample size of, how you crown that champion. And, we'll I don't know. We'll see what happens.
No, I totally get that. If there were to be a 3-round last round, not elimination round, but a championship round, what 3 tracks would you go for? Would you put a road course in there, or what 3 do you think would best determine the NASCAR Cup champion?
I think that though, if it was a 3-race round, those 3 tracks are so important. And, it's so tough. It's so tough. I mean, the fairest way is to make every race count and have a 36 race points champion. But we know that that's not going to happen. That's not the most entertaining way. And there are a lot of positives that come out of the playoff and having eliminations and stuff like that. So anytime that you narrow down that, the number of races or the sample size that you have to crown the champion, the more illegitimate it can become. So, whether that number is, 3, 5, 10, 36, the bigger the number, the more legitimate of a champion you're going to have.
I don't know. I like Atlanta, Coda, and Phoenix. Those would be 3 good tracks, wouldn't they?
I mean, my vote would be Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega. Whoever scores the most points in those races becomes a champion.
That's good.
I know Richie would like Talladega, Atlanta, and Daytona for his playoff grid, right?
That would be awesome. Cole and I talked about this earlier this year where, Atlanta put on one of the best races of the season, and, the only thing that was missing from the race was if there was more on the line. And so I would love to see Atlanta either in that championship mix in a championship round or as the regular season finale in place of Daytona. And give me more road courses. You make that happen, that makes Richie happy.
Richie, nothing on the line. They had the in-season tournament at Atlanta. Wasn't that enough? Yeah, exactly. No, I like both of what Austin Dillon and Christopher Bell said about the playoffs moving forward. I think the short-term fix and what I think should be applied to next year is what they both preached on, and that's making this a 16-car field in terms of points. And I think beyond that, I've been kind of advocating for a 3-race set for the championship. Why don't we do it go back to the chase format, get 12 drivers in the playoffs. This way, you're going to have more than 12 winners, most likely, in the regular season. So you have them fight out points-wise and with the wins weighted as well. And then you have the 12-car field, and you do 4-race rounds. So make it a 12-race set between 12 drivers, and then
I'm so confused. You lost me.
No, you lost me? Okay.
I lost. Yep.
So it's 3 rounds. 3 rounds, 4 races, 12 drivers. And the final round is...
But so you still have the eliminations?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still eliminations. It's the same elimination format. I'm saying make it 4 race sets between 12 drivers, and you still have that 4 drivers in the final round for 4 races.
That's a good
And with those 4 races, you could have more of a diversity of tracks.
Correct.
Versus just the 3.
Short, road course,
right,
mile and a half. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think there's a solution out there. It's just, I think Austin or Christopher Bell made a point that it's, do you want to satisfy the fans? You want to satisfy the drivers? You want to satisfy the team? Do you want to satisfy the series? There's so many.
And the TV networks, too,
yes.
as we learned earlier this year, that the TV networks, NBC, because they're the ones that own the rights to airing the playoff races, has a big say in this as well.
So, again, follow the dollars. That's where it always is, regardless. Follow the freaking dollars. You're paying billions of dollars for a freaking TV contract. I think they got a pretty big say on what you do, Richie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. It's $7 billion over the course of 7 years that NASCAR is making on their TV contracts now.
Obscene.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just absolute bananas.
Real quick, can I go back on something Christopher Bell said?
Sure.
Which I thought was funny. He was like, I think the one race championship it sucks and it takes away from the championship. Christopher Bell's been in the championship twice.
Right.
So he's had opportunities to win, and he blew it twice. And he lost twice to Penske drivers, if I'm not mistaken, both times.
Yep. You'd be correct.
Which he was my preseason pick to win the championship, Christopher Bell. So will I stick with that? Find out.
He was my penny stock money stop bet to make the championship for. You could have gotten him at plus 200 to open the year off, which is pretty solid number there, solid value.
Well, you got 3.5 minutes, Richie. Who are your final 4?
Ooh, here we go. I am so ready for this. I've been planning for this. I love me a nice bracket. So here we go. Championship 4 for me. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, and Shane Van Gisbergen. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I have Chase Elliott making the championship 4 this year.
Very nice.
Cusimano?
All right. I like strength in numbers. Got all 400 cars in the playoffs. So I went with Kyle Larson and William Byron to make the championship 4. You've also got all 3 Penske Fords. Can't leave out Penske. I got Ryan Blaney as my 3rd driver. And then as my dark horse, I've got a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota in Chase Briscoe. Love what I've seen from that team this year.
Briscoe over Denny.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, he's been very fast lately. 6 poles in the season, 10 top 5s, 3 runner-ups. Got that win at Pocono. Don't sleep on Chase Briscoe.
Man, you kind of stole my thunder with Chase Briscoe, so I'm going to let you hold that one.
Okay.
I got a funny suspicion, and you would know more about the numbers than I do about Austin Dillon. Say what you will about Austin. That was a legitimate beatdown at Richmond. That wasn't a fluke. But that's also on the heels of some damn good racing prior. Watkins Glen, Iowa. So instead of Chase Briscoe, I'm going to put Austin Dillon in there.
Okay.
Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, William Byron. Oh, my gosh. Ryan Blaney.
There you go.
All right.
Nice.
And my so who's your dark horse?
I don't have a dark horse. I have
Richie.
You could say Chase Elliott.
I don't know because he was up. He's been up there in the points all season long. So I think my dark horse would be Logano, probably Joey Logano, because he's been like 10th, 11th, 12th in points all year. Yeah. Even though he's the defending champion, he's still a little bit of a dark horse.
True. Elliott hasn't made the championship 4 though since 21, so it's been a while.
Hey, he's back this year, baby.
He is.
I'm on the Chase sexual train
hey.
for these playoffs at least. Okay.
I like it.
You got about 30 seconds to clear that up, Richie. Explain to the Freak Nation for those who have not heard about Chase Sexual.
Chase Sexuals is the term that Chase Elliott fans refer to themselves as. Yeah.
Okay.
Chase Sexuals.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
So what are you?
I'm a NASCAR fan.
Are you a Bowman bro?
A Broman?
Yeah,
a Broman.
A Broman.
I'll take a Broman. Yeah, why not? Yeah, Arizona guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I told you we got Alex Bowman next week. If you
I'm a
look at-
Shane Van Giz fan. There we go.
Hey,
there we go.
Or part of the boring bunch.
The boring bunch.
That would be good, just sitting next to a dummy of William Byron, and you're just going.
Joey Logano, by the way, is 18-1 to win the championship, so that does count him to be. He's like halfway through. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th favorite to win the championship.
But listen, we have nothing to lose here. That's why I was hoping you guys would go with a dark horse. So that's why I went with Austin Dillon.
Yeah. You put it out there, man. You're 1 for 1. You chose to pick Richmond. All of us were like, you idiot.
We got a break. You all right?
I was going to say darker than Briscoe. I'll go Chastain.
Okay.
There you go.
So okay, got it. All right. Freak Nation, speaking of, Austin Dillon. So it's a good time with the guy. He joins us next. SpeedFreaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Freak Nation, head to your local General Tire dealership now to check out the latest additions to their product lineup. The Grabber family of tires are engineered for durability and feature innovative performance features that offer all-terrain capability, blending exceptional off-road durability and impressive on-road performance, all while sporting aggressive style. For outstanding off-road performance coupled with strong street manners, look no further than General Tire. General Tire delivers for whatever you do, and the official tire of Speed Freaks since 2001.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Since 2022, the Enjoy Illinois 300 and Worldwide Technology Raceway has been nothing short of spectacular. Side-by-side racing, intense battles, flared timbers. It's now the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. All the excitement and the added drama of championship elimination. Go fast, go home. Get your tickets now at WWTRaceway.com. Sponsored by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate, Illinois.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Freak Nation, coming up in moments, Austin Dillon, your Richmond winner, will be joining us here in the Freak Nation. But first, our friends at General Tire say, hey, man, check it out, GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com to check out a line of tires to keep all your hot rods safe on the road. Go to GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. We caught up with Austin Dillon earlier this week, have a lot of things to talk to him about. The full interview will be up on our YouTube page at Official Speed Freaks. It's about 15, 20 minutes worth. This is about 10 minutes worth of Austin Dillon, who, by the way, is the general manager of the Carolina Cowboys, which is Pro Bull Riding's team with the Carolina Cowboys. It's Austin Dillon now. Speed Freaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios. Freak Nation, he's back. Austin Dillon running the playoffs for the NASCAR Cup Series here in the Freak Nation, flying the Lucas Oil colors for Richard Childress Racing. And let me just get off by saying this, Austin. You're looking at a gentleman who believed in you when it came to Richmond, and there is proof. Austin Dillon, you're ready. Every Friday we drop Beat the Freaks, where we pick 3 drivers to win a race against our listeners. And if our listeners beat us, they take home a set of General Tires. But if we beat their ass, we just, we gloat. So here were my 3 picks prior to your Richmond win, all right? Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, and Austin Dillon.
Final time, there's the contact!
Boom! How about that, buddy?
Hey, you caught a dub. Way to take a bold shot there. I mean, we did have a 3-second lead before 2024. I don't know how bold it was.
But nobody else was choosing you. And that's just the bizarre mentality of either the fan base or the media even, that the memories are short. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, I saw the odds too. I mean, people could have cashed in if they bet on us.
Exactly. Yeah, Kenny, how'd that
Well, that's
that
my
out?
mistake, because I didn't follow up my picks with a damn bet. If I would have raked it in, but evidently it was 5,000 to 1, and then going into the race after you qualified, it was 3,000 to 1. Still, I could have made a couple of house payments, Dillon.
There you go. Just got it. The confidence was there, but not really.
Hey, nailed it. Tell me how you race now now that you're in the playoffs, going in, of course, to Darlington versus trying to get into the playoffs? How does Austin Dillon pre-playoffs now in the playoffs race?
Well, I mean, I think you can look at what it takes to transfer the next round and race that way, and that's usually consistency here in this first round. But, I mean, I wouldn't change anything that the three teams currently doing. We're executing very well. Iowa was a good race for us also. So we probably won't change a whole lot. Just keep on building what we have since Richmond.
Yes, your momentum, I'm going to go back since Watkins Glen, since Iowa. Your momentum has been really, really solid. I know there's been some personnel changes, but is there something else that you can put your finger on as to what has really elevated the number 3 team over these last several weeks, months?
I think it's just the consistency and the routine that we have as a group. We found a pretty good baseline, and they're working toward making the cars fit my driving style at each track. And I think that's playing off, and we've been calm in the eyes of adversity at times, and we've kind of just been built for this from the hardships we had early on in the season, I think.
It's not lost on people who follow the NASCAR Cup Series that you've been pretty vocal on really trying to straighten this thing up with your grandfather, with the team. When did you feel, or maybe you have, we're seeing it now as if you're stepping up more and trying to integrate yourself more into this team to bring the performance up to where it should be. When did that start?
Well, I think it started with, constant effort. It's never not been a forefront issue or something that we're not working on. We're always trying to make RCR better, but when we're struggling like that, certain things have to be pushed, buttons have to be pushed. The effort level I feel like has always been there, but we got to work, smart at the same time and efficient. So me and my grandfather and my brother and my dad, we're always talking about how we can make the organization better. And it always leads to, good, constructive conversation. And I think you're seeing some of the fruits of the labor of the men and women here at RCR as of late. I think we're doing a good job of putting good products out on the track.
There was a time when my grandfather was alive, and I wouldn't say shit to the guy to aggravate him. Have you had conversations with Richard that might have put him over the edge to where he wanted to come at you? Or does he take your input like, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I think your best friends in life are the ones that tell you sometimes what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So when it comes to my grandfather, I feel like I have a relationship. We can be open with him, and I know his feelings when I go too far and overstep, but it's all for just trying to be better. And I love it when he jumps in my butt and tells me, hey, you got to do better. So it's a two-way street. When you ask, you're probably going to receive some too. So it's been good, and I'm enjoying the relationship we're having, especially to be able to just be around my grandfather at the age he's at and letting the competitive juices flow. It's been, something I'll cherish forever.
Yeah, essentially, you are the Richard Childress of old, and now this is kind of turning into your baby, and you're massaging it. I would have to believe that a lot of your business instinct, granted, it's in you anyway because of your family history, but is some of this coming from your ownership, your leadership of the Carolina Cowboys? Is some of this coming from your management of other athletes? Some things cross over there, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of crossover, and I think that's why my grandfather wanted me to try and work through the process of the PBR teams and work with the Carolina Cowboys and the athletes that we have, the bull riders. And I've learned a lot about business and learned a lot about teamwork and what it takes to get a big ship turned in the right direction. So definitely think some of the knowledge and stuff I've gained from working with the Cowboys has crossed over.
Do you actually, again, general managers that I think of, successful general managers, all come from Major League Baseball, the National Football League. Do you actually get in some of these riders' face like an angry general manager should to get their ass in gear?
No, I don't want any of that smoke, truthfully. But I have no problem telling them, hey, we're professionals and we need to act like professionals. And anytime I can help from a mental aspect when someone's struggling or even being successful and how to handle certain situations, I try to step in those situations because, being in NASCAR for a very long time, we're under the spotlight every weekend, and how you handle those situations really can shape the future of your brand. And I look at every one of those guys as a brand, and I look at the Cowboys as a brand, and we want to be the best there is.
Freak Nation, Austin Dillon, general manager of the Carolina Cowboys, of course, driving the number 3 Cup car, joining us here in the Freak Nation. And unless you see professional bull riding live, you can't grasp it. Just like watching a Cup race or NHRA race or IndyCar race. Crasher and I had a chance to cover PBR a few times last year for Lucas Oil, and I forget, frankly, until I see those guys and the way they bend their bodies and continue to get up, really how strong, and it's the epitome of an athlete to get back up on that bull and come out another round. You as a general manager, how do you appreciate what these dudes and women are doing?
Well, I mean, for one, they're the toughest men on the planet. I mean, they have to love what they do. That's the only thing I'll say. They love it with all their heart, because my neck and back is popping when you're talking about it. So it's one of those sports that's grueling, but the reward of the adrenaline rush, those guys love it. And to ride something like a beast of an animal, for 2,000-pound animal for 8 seconds and be able to stay on top of it, I mean, it's impressive. So I always love the matchups. I get into the bulls and those animal athletes that they are, and I even have some. So I've had fun, owning a couple bulls and watching them compete. And it's a blast to see, the love of the sport when you're out there. It's cool.
Gee, it sounds so familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, strapping on to a 2,000-pound animal, Daytona, the adrenaline rush, Richmond, Victory Lane. I see the crossover.
Well, I think the big crossover is I couldn't cry because I had a broken rib. So if I would have been complaining about my rib, the bull riders would have given me a lot of heat. Those guys ride with broken legs and hands, and they just get back on. They don't even care. It's only 8 seconds is what their mentality is. We can hold on for 8. So they're tough guys.
Hey, run me through that, man. I've got a lovely wife. I've got a child. You have the same. Was there a conversation with your wife about, I've got to let people know that I'm feeling this way with my ribs? Or did she say, look, honey, you drop that out there, people are going to come at you and say you're making excuses? Did you have a conversation with your wife or a family member about revealing that you had the cracked ribs?
I just thought it was a good opportune time after we won Richmond, let that out there. Just a little more feather in the cap. But, I mean, then you ask the question, well, how'd you do it? And it's like, I fell off a ladder. So it's not very cool. If I would have done it like racing, wrecked something, blew a tire and they're hard hit. But, I mean, I fell off a ladder carrying my bow, which is cool because I was getting ready for bow season for Johnny Moore's Bass Pro Shops. So shows people that I am an avid hunter and outdoorsman and love getting in the outdoors.
Austin Dillon here in the Freak Nation, and Christopher Bell joins us next, and he talks a little bit about the playoffs and has some opinions similar to what Austin Dillon had to say. Also, with Christopher Bell, he's pretty much, this is what you're going to get from Bell, and explains it in a way that, like, okay, makes some sense to me. Christopher Bell next. Speed Freaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Since 2022, the Enjoy Illinois 300 and Worldwide Technology Raceway has been nothing short of spectacular. Side-by-side racing, intense battles, flared tempers. It's now the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. All the excitement and the added drama of championship elimination. Go fast or go home. Get your tickets now at www.raceway.com. Sponsored by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate Illinois.
Freak Nation, coming up in moments, Christopher Bell. And I think Christopher Bell, of all the freaking drivers this year, been in here the most. I think this might be his 5th or 6th visit. Regardless, we spent some good time with your playoff and championship contender, Christopher Bell, right now. Speed Freaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios. Freak Nation, he's back. Christopher Bell joining us here in the Freak Nation. Again, getting set for the 2025 playoffs in the NASCAR Cup Series. But before we go any further discussing those playoffs, Christopher Bell, I'm a little aggravated at the cover of the new NASCAR video game. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Why in the hell are you in a helmet? I mean, you're one of the best looking guys on the series. We got Byron and Blaney, but you're in a damn helmet, man.
That is not my department. Not my department.
Do they consult with you at all? They're saying, "Hey, dude, we're going to put you on the cover. Let's use this shot."
No, I didn't know I was going to be on the cover, number one, and then number two, they here it is. This is what we got. Like, okay.
Now that you spent so many years in the Cup Series, how much sim racing how much sim? Well, I'm sure you spend a lot of racing on the sim, but as far as iRacing goes, outside of what you're doing with Cup, do you do much iRacing?
That's it's funny you bring that up. So I'm going to call it like a hobby racer. As a hobby racer, I lived on online sim racing. And then once you become a professional and it becomes your job, then you're like, okay, I don't really want to be spending my off time racing online. So as a kid growing up, I raced online all the time. And then, the more seriously you start to take, your job, and whenever it becomes your profession, I'm ready to get away from it whenever I'm not on the track. So you don't really find me online racing as much anymore.
That's a great point, because there will be times, Christopher Bell, when Crasher and I will take the weekend off because we want to enjoy a vacation. And some people say, "Hey, man, are you going to go to a race while you're there?" No, I'm not going to a race. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to go to the amusement park. I'm going to stay in the hotel. So I feel what you're putting down.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you might catch me on there in the middle of December or January, but not during race season most of the time.
So some drivers do still get into iRacing and race the fans throughout the season. There's still a benefit to it, though, right? If you want to just spend 24/7, 365 in the motorsports world.
I think so. It's especially if you're just going to play video games, right? If you're going to play video games, that's clearly the best way to go about it. You're still getting the racing IQ, so to speak, whenever you're put in those situations. And, as a kid growing up, like, I lived on that. And I firmly believe it was an advantage of me doing that because, I spent my entire life basically racing. Instead of playing shooter games or, basketball, football, anything like that, my video game time was still racing. And nowadays, I don't do online racing, but the simulation work has become such a big part of our sport now with the lack of practice and qualifying. Simulators are just the name of the game, and it's a super big tool that all of us use.
How many hours per week would you say you're in the sim? Because I have noticed that over the last several months, and probably way before that we contact a PR rep and they're like, "Oh, well, he's got sim time at this moment." And I'm like, it's coming up more and more. So how many hours per week do you think you spend there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all really stems from COVID. And whenever COVID hit in 2020, it eliminated all practice and qualifying in NASCAR. So literally you were showing up to the racetrack, and the first time that you would sit in the race car would be when they waved the green flag and you're out there racing. So whenever that hit, everybody started looking more towards the simulator to, use it to get acclimated. Number one, get the drivers acclimated to the racetrack so the drivers can use it as practice. And then number two, the teams are started to use it more and more to work on their setups. And the manufacturers are kind of the ones that are in charge of the simulators. So each manufacturer, Toyota, Ford, and Chevrolet, have their own program and their own tools to do it. And they're all working hard to try and make it as realistic as possible so that you can actually go in there and work on chassis adjustments and setup changes and see, if that makes the car handle better, if it makes it faster or slower. So before it was just, a little bit of sim time would prep you for the race weekend. And now with less practice at track, we're using that simulator for much, much more during the weeks.
Christopher Bell joining us here in the Freak Nation. Last thing regarding the sim racing or iRacing was, I was one of those that poo-pooed online racing back in the day and how it would transfer to the track. But dudes like Raja Bell, or Roger Carruth, William Byron, and other guys certainly proved me wrong. You, as a guy that's been racing on dirt since you were 5, maybe, when did you put your arms around and grasp, like, yeah, this online racing can transfer to collecting a big boy paycheck in the IndyCar Series or Cup Series?
Well, I think it's just, at least from my standpoint, like I was getting the seat time, right? Like I can't speak on behalf of William, who literally had no seat time and just did online racing. But for me, I was racing on the weekends, and then during the week, it was more reps. And as a race car driver, like we don't have the luxury of just, going to a track and making laps. Like it's super expensive, whether it is just a go-kart or, probably go-karts are the cheapest form of practice, but it still takes a lot more money compared to football, where you can go outside and toss it around or go shoot hoops playing basketball. Like practice is just, it's hard, it's time consuming, and it's expensive in our industry. So for me, I'm sure that every sim racer, it's a cheap alternative that keeps you in the seat, and you're not getting that feel that you have in the race car, but you're still getting the visuals, and you're still getting that racing IQ, even if you're racing online.
All right, Christopher Bell, it's playoff time. It's go time. We know how much you love this playoff format, but how much seat time have you given in the sim for Darlington the first weekend, or WWT Raceway the second weekend, or Bristol the third and cutoff weekend of the first round? What is the most important thing that you focus on every single round in these playoffs? Is it seat time in the sim, or is it something else with your guys?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we focus on is just knowing the task at hand, and your task will change week to week, round to round, depending on where you're at. So last year, we were very fortunate to have a ton of playoff points, and we were at the top of the seeding process and the top of the standings whenever they had resets and going into that first race. So this time we're a little bit further down. We still have a good amount of playoff points compared to some of the other competitors, but yeah, we're looking at what point totals that we need to advance based off of history and the historic averages, stuff like that. And yeah, we've got a pretty good idea of what our day needs to look like going into Darlington. And then what the outcome of that will dictate on how we race at St. Louis. And then how that, outcome will dictate how we race at Bristol. So right now, the round of 16, with the amount of playoff points that we have, we're just looking for base hits. Go out there, dot your I's, cross your T's, no mistakes, and hopefully that's enough to get you to the next round. And driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, we got great cars. We expect us to be in that top 10 range, scoring playoff points or scoring points throughout the stages. And if that's the case, we should be in good shape. But it changes race to race, and you got to always evaluate where you're at.
That just ups the intensity each and every week, which is why the playoffs are what they are, at least for the moment's notice. But man, it's just, how do you compartmentalize that stuff? How do you change your mentality week to week? Or is this kind of routine now?
It's definitely become normal. And I think you can ask pretty much everybody in the industry that you get a pretty good idea of the flows of it. And yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've been on the opposite side of it, and you get into that race 3 of a round and you got to win. And fortunately, I've been there a couple times and been able to, my team's pulled through, and we've been able to win races like that. So sometimes you need a base hit, sometimes you need a home run, and it's just knowing, what it takes before you get in there. That way you can get your mentality right and race smart, regardless of what your goals are.
The pits at Darlington are obviously different from Bristol, obviously different from Worldwide Technology Raceway. During the week, do you and your pit crew work on simulation of Bristol versus Darlington or Worldwide Technology Raceway, or just when you're there at the track?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The biggest thing, most pit roads are pretty similar. You have your oddballs, which would be like Watkins Glen, Mexico City, where you have reverse pit stops where they actually have to go around the car and pit the left side first and then the right side. That takes a lot of practice on the pit crew side, but most of the ovals are very similar. The only thing that can change is the setup on the cars, whether, the tires are drooping out of the fender wells and stuff like that. So the pit crews will definitely practice with the race setup on so that they know what, how much jack stroke they need to get the car off the ground for the tires to come out and stuff like that. And that all varies week to week between Darlington, St. Louis, or Bristol. So yeah, it's not much different from my standpoint, except for knowing the grip level of the tires. And going to these 3 racetracks, the grip level will be pretty similar. Going to a place like Daytona, you have to be careful because those things, you can lock the tires up and slide through the pit box in a hurry at Daytona.
Christopher Bell here in the Freak Nation, sitting top 5 to win, in the odds to win the NASCAR Cup Series championship for 2025. Coming up next, Connor Zilisch, he put it out there. Well, him and Trackhouse. One of the nicest cats you'll ever meet. Not even old enough to drink. Connor Zilisch going Cup racing. Is it a mistake that they're moving him up to Cup? Is it too soon? At one time I thought it was. That's next. SpeedFreaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
This freaking segment is brought to you by General Tires. General Tires delivers for hot summer treads. For more information on what tires fit your ride, go to GeneralTire.com. Performance, passenger, light truck, SUV, they got them at General Tire. Go to GeneralTire.com. Again, GeneralTire.com to find the tire for your ride. General Tire, over 2 decades as the official tire of Speed Freaks.
Since 2022, the Enjoy Illinois 300 and Worldwide Technology Raceway has been nothing short of spectacular. Side-by-side racing, intense battles, flared timbers. It's now the second race of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. All the excitement and the added drama of championship elimination. Go fast or go home. Get your tickets now at WWTRaceway.com. Sponsored by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate, Illinois.
Freak Nation, head to your local General Tire dealership now to check out the latest additions to their product lineup. The Grabber family of tires are engineered for durability and feature innovative performance features that offer all-terrain capability, blending exceptional off-road durability and impressive on-road performance, all while sporting aggressive style. For outstanding off-road performance coupled with strong street manners, look no further than General Tire. General Tire delivers for whatever you do, and the official tire of Speed Freaks since 2001.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
All right, Freak Nation, don't forget, speedfreaks.tv, the website, of course, Facebook, Instagram, and our good friends there at TikTok and Twitter. Be sure you follow us, Freak Nation. We're blowing up, baby. We're blowing up. Hey, Richie, did you see that Connor Zilich's old man kind of blew up Reddit the other day?
No, I didn't, actually.
Someone called Connor Zilisch an entitled 18-year-old. And his dad, Jim Zilisch, said, he's 19. That's it. And they went bananas.
That's a great comeback. Right? I love that.
Nice.
When someone says he's entitled, and it's tough to come off not being a Connor Zilisch snorkeler, but as we talked about last Sunday night, Connor Zilisch is my little indie band that I discovered in a club in some backwoods joint many years ago, and now that band is starting to blow up. That's Connor Zilisch 2 or 3 years ago coming in here at 15, 16 years old in the Freak Nation, and now look at him. He's got a full-time Cup ride next year, and we asked this question last Sunday, and I think Cole had a lot of time to think about this, and because I think next, are you the second or third snorkeler, deep snorkeler from me? I know Crash is, but do you think you Rob Horse snorkeled him of Zilisch?
Of Connor's, what's not to love? It's generational talent. He's a superstar that we're witnessing before our eyes.
Look, when Will Power comes out, arguably one of the greatest, top 5 Champ Car, IndyCar pilots of all time, comes out and says, I think you're making a mistake. This guy should be representing the United States in Formula One. Not just because he's a badass driver, but like a lot of folks refer to, his maturity at 19 years old.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we asked that question last week, and I think it's a good time to discuss it now again. Are we teeing this guy up for disappointment? I mean, grand disappointment. He's being compared to Jeff Gordon at this age. And Jeff Gordon, what he did was, there was really no one to compare Jeff Gordon to at the time when Jeff Gordon was rattling off wins and top fives. So Connor Zilisch is now going to be running in the Cup Series. And do we know when his actual birthday is?
It is July 22nd.
Okay, so when his first full-time Cup ride, he's still going to be 19.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Correct.
And we don't know the number for him yet. Do you think there might be a switcheroo with him and Van G?
That is what I believe is going to happen. Or else they would have announced it. They would have said Connor Zilisch will be driving the number 87 Red Bull WeatherTech Chevrolet in 2026. Mm-hmm. So that's what the streets are thinking, is that there's going to be a switcheroo. Connor Zilisch is going to keep his Xfinity Series number 88, and then Shane Van Gisbergen is going to move not to 99. He's not going to take the Daniel Suarez ride, but he's going to go 97, which was his number in supercars.
Yep.
I think that would be great. That would be awesome.
I mean, if they're smart, Trackhouse, and they are, they will definitely put Connor Zilisch in the 88, because that 88 car and 88 merchandise sells numbers, whether it's JRM or not. Mm-hmm. And if you want to showcase this superstar to the world, you want him in that number, the 88. I think it's going to happen.
Which, again, this is a rabbit hole real quick. You're right. The significance of 88, it's not lost on us. Mm-hmm. And I know this isn't their number, but if you think about famous numbers throughout the history of NASCAR, and again, I'm going to get my ass slapped by a few people, but you just don't think about 38 or 37 or 35 or
38, man. That was Elliott Sadler.
You just don't. You don't.
Let's go.
You don't. 62. You just don't. But 88, 8, 3, 24, 42. What? Yeah, but
Brendan gone.
Say that on camera. I want to get that on camera. All right. Where's your mic?
Number 62, Brendan Gaughan. Yeah.
I don't hear you.
Yeah.
Too bad. Moving on.
Dang.
Oh, well. Thanks, Cody, for your insight on today's show. Apparently, it's not working.
Brendan gone.
All right. Well, I just hope we can land the damn helicopter if you can't communicate with ground control. All right, Connor Zilisch, moving to the Cup Series. Cole Cusimano, you have some takes on this, and actually the only dude I think on the show that does research for this show.
Thanks.
Cole Cusimano. Your take on Connor Zilisch going Cup racing?
Yeah, I think my biggest complaint across all pro sports is that when they rush these athletes up too soon to the majors, the pros, you see a lot of regression, and I think it also messes with the confidence of certain guys. I think especially in Major League Baseball, but I think, it's fantasy football season right now. I think it's more common in the NFL where you see rookies make an immediate impact. And I think Connor Zilisch is a special case in NASCAR where he can be unlike a Harrison Burton or a Chase Briscoe when they first burst onto the scene that were highly touted prospects, a Ty Gibbs, even in that sense. To where he can make an immediate impact and be a legitimate contender in his rookie season. Because you look at what he's done right now in the Xfinity Series, he's riding a 12-race top 5 streak with a second-place average finish in those 12 races. And to put in perspective how dominant that is...
Say that again. That's
12-race top 5 streak, winning back-to-back races now in 5 of his last 6 starts. Second-place average finish in those 12 starts, this streak currently. Whoa. That's half the season. So half the season he has a second-place average finish, with 7 wins in total. And I went back and looked at other touted generational talent since I've been watching NASCAR. The earliest that I can remember when I got into NASCAR was Joey Logano. That was 2009.
Sliced bread, baby.
Exactly. Got the 1 win, finished 20th in the standings for JGR. Then I remembered Kyle Larson, another generational talent. 2014, no wins, 17th in the standings for Chip Ganassi Racing. I can't remember as far back if Kyle Busch was a generational talent or touted as so. He got 2 wins and finished 20th in the standings as well for Hendrick Motorsports. So, in my opinion, Connor Zilisch driving for Trackhouse Racing has the potential to score at least 2 wins, which is half of what his rookie teammate SVG has this year. And I think he will finish better than 15th in the standings and make the playoffs. Bottom line.
Because of all the people that you mentioned, not one of them have those stats in the Xfinity Series. Had those stats.
I mean, Kyle Busch can make the case for sure, but I mean, Connor Zilisch, what he's doing right now in his rookie season is just absurd.
I'm talking about, I know the answer, but Connor Zilisch's first full-time ride in the Xfinity Series was when?
This year.
I don't know. Kyle, what did Kyle Busch do his first Xfinity Busch, whatever the hell it was called?
Yeah,
I don't think he did anything like this.
I don't think so either.
So it's not a stretch to say no one's ever done this.
Mm-hmm.
You come out, you're a freaking rookie, you win the championship, let's say, and, okay, move on to the Cup Series.
Yeah, so this is a case where I'm okay with it happening, because I really do think it's not going to impact his growth at all and his development. I think he's going to be an immediate contender.
Kyle Busch won 5 races in his first full-time NASCAR Xfinity Series season, and he finished second in the points.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Comparatively speaking, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would think Logano had some similar numbers, seeing as he was so highly touted as well. I don't got those numbers up in front of me right now.
I've got a couple of takes here, and I don't know. Richie, you may not even know this guy. Do you remember Freddie Adu?
I do. Hell yeah. I remember when the hype as a teenager when he showed up.
15-year-old.
Yeah, and he showed up on the men's national team, and he was DC in the MLS and just flamed out.
Yep. Freddie Adu was supposed to save soccer here in America. And the hype around this guy, it just kicked his ass. And to Freddie Adu's, from what I can tell, Freddie Adu's credit, he admits it's all on him. But that being said, the powers that be didn't do him any favors labeling him soccer's savior in the U.S. Freddie Adu just freaking flamed out. On the other side of this is Arch Manning, who, by the way, I will be seeing live Saturday afternoon.
Future
noon
Los
kickoff.
Angeles Ram.
Noon kickoff, Eastern time. Can you believe that? Freaking Buckeyes and the Horns kick off at noon. Who the hell schedules that shit?
Follow the money. That's Fox, baby.
Arch Manning, and again, being the Longhorn snorkeler that I am, you follow this guy's career, and in particular, high school and with the Longhorns. His family, again, say what you will, did their best. For one, I don't think to this day he has very little social media presence. He really throws himself into his team where he'll sit down and talk to the freshmen inside the locker room. If he's invited to a party out at a fraternity with some of his team members, he'll go show up. But it's not the hype. The only hype that it's coming from is media people. It's not coming from his machine at all. His family has done a hell of a job to keep his head on straight. And last year when he was backup to Quinn Ewers, it's Arch Manning. There's not been a prospect in my lifetime that's been recruited and depended on so much as Arch Manning. If I was Arch Manning, I don't know if I could have sat behind Quinn Ewers, because with the portal system, I know I'm getting off into a rabbit hole, but with the portal system, you had to believe there were 30 teams going, bro, Arch can come over here and start next Saturday. Yeah, right here. Mm-hmm. And we'll get you $10 million in NIL.
Right.
But I guess Connor Zilisch has the right team around him to where they provide some of this comfort and soft wall presentation. That's such a shitty word to say. That Arch Manning has had, to where Arch Manning, if he crushes it this year, does he go pro? I don't know. That's another show. But I'm just hoping that there's enough people around Connor Zilisch, because I'm still going to go back to my original opinion. I think it's too soon for Connor. Not because I think he's going to fail. I don't think that's going to be the issue. I just think you are 19 years old, kicking off a series that, with the weight of the freaking series behind you and what people are going to ask of you to do. I'm not saying Cole Cusimano's putting that much pressure on him, but Cole Cusimano said Connor Zilisch is going to have 2 wins next year.
Yeah, that's
possible.
That's too much. That's a little too high expectations for me. Look, we've seen him in this Gen 7 car in the Cup Series, in that Trackhouse Racing 87 this year, and he struggled. 37th at Coda, he crashed. Did not fare well at Charlotte, 23rd. Finished 11th in Atlanta, which is nice. But anytime I've seen him in the Cup car this year, he has not really shown the results to meet expectations for me. Like, go back at Watkins Glen, where Shane Van Gisbergen was on the pole in that race, or second, on the front row in that race, and He was really fast in practice. He got to qualifying, and he qualified in the back of the pack, I think in 20th or something like that too. So for me, especially when your teammate is Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch, as good as he is on road courses, Shane's better. Shane's better than Shane on road courses, especially the next-gen car. And so I think it's going to be a struggle for Connor at this level to try and succeed this quickly. It's going to take him time to adapt to this car. And so I don't think he's going to make the playoffs in his first year. I think he'll maybe contend on some of these road courses, especially as he gets more used to this car. But again, I think you're looking at maybe a 2026 or 2027 for the first time where we're really going to see Connor Zilisch start to succeed and start to contend for race wins more. It's not going to be as easy as we think it is for Connor. It really isn't, as much as I want it to be.
Cole, I want you to think about this. And as Richie was talking, I didn't hear anything he said because I was rattling through. I actually did, Richie. That was a good point.
Thanks for listening. I appreciate that.
I was rattling off
Christ.
the Cup teams, contending Cup teams, and it takes a sharp drop after Trackhouse for me. But of all the teams that he's with, I think Trackhouse is the best team, given the oh man, how do I describe this? The brick and mortar mentality of an older team owner from Joe Gibbs, Rick Hendrick,
Roger Penske. Say what you will. It still comes from the top and it filters down. Granted, there are younger individuals than those three people that I mentioned, but it still comes down from, all right, old white dudes. And I'm going to get hammered by that. I just think when your team and one of its major players at one time was freaking Pitbull, that tells you a lot about that. Could you see Pitbull and Penske? No. You don't. I just think the culture at Trackhouse is much better for a Connor Zilisch than you wear Penske colors. You got to wear that sharp pressed white shirt. You've got to succeed. It's like Trackhouse is going, no. This guy's on a 3-year plan. I'm not saying that's what he said, but this guy's on a 3-year plan. Third year, he should be contending for a championship. I just think Trackhouse, you guys may want to disagree, is the best place for this guy to land. Don't disagree at all. I think the bottom line with Trackhouse is that they're a young, innovative, and just very smart and economical organization. And what they have proven time and time again since entering the Cup Series is that they invest in their drivers, they prioritize their drivers, and not just them, the team around them. I have friends that work for Trackhouse in various different departments, and they say it's like a very family-like vibe, very family-like atmosphere, and that's why people like working for them. That's why there's so much success in the Cup Series side of things, and just even beyond that, in other series of racing. So I think the sky's the limit for Connor Zilisch. I think I do agree to an extent. I don't think he's going to come here and make an immediate championship winning impact, but I think he's going to be competitive enough to contend for the playoffs, and we'll see how it shakes out. But I am always an advocate for always waiting it out and developing more in the lower series, no matter what sport you're in.
Richie?
I was just going to say that as far as Trackhouse is concerned, they've kind of dropped off a little bit as far as their success. Outside of Shane winning on road courses, Ross Chastain was in the championship for just a couple of years ago because of the Hail Melon, right?
Yep.
And after that, Ross hasn't had the success that he had several years ago, back when Trackhouse first came on the scene, and the first couple of years of this new car. So, their Trackhouse is like a second tier team at this moment, right? They're not Gibbs, like Kenny was saying. They're not Gibbs. They're not these top tier teams. So, we'll see. I think it's all depends on how good Trackhouse is going to be next year, and that's. If Trackhouse puts on a car on the track that can contend, him and Ross Chastain both, then maybe he'll get some wins, which would be awesome for the sport.
Yeah, I agree.
A little inside baseball. I know who Connor Zilisch is surrounded by. I know who his agent is, who his management is. I know where he came from, and I hope that he's prepared. And I'm not saying that because it's a negative take on who has surrounded the guy over the last couple of years. I think it's advantageous who's been around him. And when you hear cats like, Baldwin.
Tommy Baldwin?
Tommy Baldwin. I think I saw somewhere where Tommy Baldwin said this guy is going to be the next Jeff Gordon. And one word that he used that many folks tend to use is his maturity. Shit. I don't think my balls dropped at 19.
Kevin Harvick. Same thing. Compared him to Connor or Jeff Gordon. Said he's the most polished, well-rounded young driver that's come into the Cup Series since Jeff Gordon.
Whoop. He's got an eye for talent.
That's heavy, man.
That Kevin Harvick. And Dale Jr. as well. I mean, come on.
Yep. All right, Freak Nation, thank you guys for being a part of this big old thing, man. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Richie, damn it, are we about 500 away on YouTube to get 10,000 followers?
We're close. We are very, very close. Yeah.
Damn it.
10K, baby.
Right. All right.
Money Stop's going to help with that case this weekend.
Oh.
Got
Because you guys killed it last week.
Yes, we did. Ryan Blaney.
Right.
Yeah, we got it. We got all the goods for Darlington.
All right. All right, Freak Nation, thank you guys for being a part of this. Later.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio.